Dr. Gloria Mark, author of Attention Span, has found that people look away from their screen during focused activity after just 47 seconds. And we know that's way, way shorter when we're talking about social media. So if you want people to stick with your lead magnet through the very end and hear your carefully thought out call to action, you got to do a little bit extra legwork to keep them engaged. And I'm going to share with you today the most powerful way I know to do this. I want to share with you an example from one of my clients who's pivoting her 7-figure coaching business right now. And this is from a masterclass she did on how to break through your financial glass ceiling by having really healthy boundaries. So I'm just going to read this little blurb and notice what it evokes for you physically, emotionally. I didn't know that I didn't have boundaries in my life and in my business at the time I was in corporate America, and I just let everybody step all over them. The reason I did that was because I was terrified of using my voice. It was shut down when I was a child. So I was afraid I was going to push people away, lose my job. I was afraid of what people were going to say and think about me. And what stood out to me immediately was that vision of being shut down when she was a child. That's a really powerful concept. And it's not quite enough yet for us to really sink our teeth into. We don't have a picture of it in our mind, most likely. And so my feedback here is to give a really vivid example, including dialogue, if possible, of what that shutdown looked like. What did mom say? So I'm going to read the revision of this, and again, just kind of tune in and notice if any sensations, emotions come up in your body. So the reason I did that was because I was terrified of using my voice. It was shut down when I was a child. I remember my dad had a friend who gave me this creepy feeling, and he always hugged me when he came over. One day I tried to get out of it. I hid in my room when he came to see my dad, but my mom hollered through my door that I needed to go downstairs. And I finally told her, I don't want to say hi to Steve. I couldn't have explained why, even if she had asked, but she didn't. Her jaw dropped, and she was like, we don't say those kinds of things in this family. Get down there. Don't be so rude. These two ways of communicating create completely different feeling states in the body. With that second one, I'm guessing you empathized a bit more with the little girl in the story. Maybe you felt disempowered, betrayed, a lack of safety. And almost surely, whatever emotions you're feeling are connected to a childhood memory that you have, whether it's conscious or not. And that's really important here because the journey that my client is taking you on requires that you see yourself as someone who lacks healthy boundaries so that you'll keep listening to her message about how you can get financial abundance. So with this free offer, the person listening to you is still trying to feel you out, right? They're still trying to decide if they trust you as an individual, and more importantly, if they trust that you can solve their unique challenges. And it's through having an emotional experience that we can most readily make that connection where we're driven to notice our similarities instead of being driven to mentally analyze where we might be different. So the most powerful way I know to capture and keep your folks' attention is through this kind of vivid storytelling. And it doesn't have to be long. In fact, shorter is better as long as it's just long enough to get your point across, to create the response that you're trying to create. Doing this is one of the 6 lead magnet edits I recommend every business owner makes if they want to get higher conversions on their lead magnets. So I'm going to put a link below so you can get that whole checklist. So let me know how this lands for you. And I especially would love to know in the comments what things you do to help yourself tell these kinds of more vivid, engaging stories in your free content.